Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome to the Nintendo Shack, episode 333. 333. That's pretty amazing. Episode 332 episodes ago, Jason, Lacy, and I started this podcast, and here we are.
Here we are.
Back again. Welcome back to the Shack, Jason.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure
Absolutely.
to be here. And I'm enjoying the early morning podcast vibes, which is much against my podcast history, and it's a nice change of pace. You know?
It is. Yeah. I dig the. Not always. Sometimes you wake up, it's hard to get up. I will admit.
Sure.
I stayed up way too late last night. it was a struggle to get here. But I actually I'm inclined to agree with that. You know, so many of my podcasts are me sitting there like rife with rum, you know, pontificating, just, you know, almost like our generations before us would just sit at a bar and just talk bullshit over drinks.
Yes.
You know, so like in the morning, I feel like I'm more focused and I'm more concise and
you're on point, right? I mean, you're dialed in.
Yeah, a little
maybe.
Bit. Not as willing to be like, it's whatever. Who cares if it's a 4-hour show? Let's just keep, you know, like.
I have to say though, from being on the loop of podcasting for a bit, and just being on the loop of the pulse of Nintendo, maybe I'd say, but just hanging out in the pre-show and getting the musical vibes, I'm like, boom, you're just back in.
Yeah,
I love the tunes. So sets the mood right, you know.
Yeah, I was really happy that one, I've always been ecstatic that we chose that little eShop jingle to start the show. It seems to be. I actually heard another YouTube channel do the same thing. They've adapted the same song, and I was like, yeah, see, I get it. Makes sense. It's got a great hit like to start a show.
They adapt that. They also wax poetic about the Wii U. They just do all the things, right?
Bunch of Johnny come latelys, I'm telling you. But yeah, I love the revamp of the song that I found, and I was very happy that the artists gave us their permission to use it. They're like, absolutely knock yourself out. So
heck yeah,
I like the little bump. You know, it gets a little something
for sure.
So
you want to explain before you get started why your podcast isn't as great? Well, I've got big shoes to fill. I mean, Delvin and Rebecca aren't here. I mean,
they're barely here. They both messaged me this week. They're like, yeah, we're not going to come to the show. like out of the blue, because it was hilarious. And Rebecca was like, yeah, I forgot I'm going out of town, which I don't think that happens. Nobody forgets they're leaving.
Yeah, she's in North Carolina, right?
I think New York. She went out to New York City, yeah. So she's living it up, you know, big Mario Odyssey style.
She's just going to the Nintendo store. That's it. I mean,
when she said that, Delvin was like, yeah, I was also going to say that I'm not in, which was hilarious because, like the three of us should, I'm kind of not feeling well. I'm not sure if you can hear it. So, like, I, too, was kind of considering, like, I was like, maybe I should take the week off. Sure. Delvin and Rebecca have it. Like, I can rely on them. And then they both caught out. It's like, well, one of us will be on the show apparently, and it'll be me, which is, you know, it's par for the course. Like
sure,
is PSVG at this point. But Rebecca looks like she's having a blast. I don't know what Flunky Delvin is doing. You know, who knows?
Who knows? Florida man stuff.
Exactly. But I'm a little wheezy. I'm a little coffee. I'm not like sick. I don't think.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I don't want to say it's allergies because I don't think that's the case. I think I've just been outside a lot this week, and maybe that has something to do with it.
Sure.
Been a long week. Been adulting. I've been adulting. I have played some video games, but you're our guest. You're here, so Jason, what have you been up to, man? Life. I saw you went out with your son. I got some excellent photos because we are Threads brethren. I love it over there. It's quiet. It's small. There's like nobody there. It's perfect. It's like I just need a place to post my memes and nobody to get mad.
So far, everything I've noticed from over there too is the fandom. I'm going to say that fandoms are a little more welcoming, maybe a little more less opinionated and negative. So I think you have and sure that's going to have to do with a lesser population for sure, because as when you introduce more people, you're only going to naturally introduce more of the bad, right? Especially with social media. But yeah, I've played around there for a bit. I'm trying to continue to dip my toes there. Like, it's weird how the algorithm is, because it's like in my For You page, it's just running. That's like all I get is just running stuff. And
Wow.
just from the little bit that I've posted it or engaged about my own, running journey, but that's all I get. And
Wow.
I'm trying to like curate some more other things, but it's just
You got
funny.
to post some new thing, like some
That's
new
what it's
things.
just globbed onto. But yeah, man, I coming back from a family vacation the past week. So I mean, I'm on the opposite spectrum of you. I'm feeling great, feeling loose, feeling relaxed. Didn't really have to deal with work, which was nice, which isn't always the case when I take a vacation. So,
Sure.
yeah, looking forward to getting back into the corporate grind, I guess, again, and getting focused on that world. And yeah, it's just been right before we started the show, my son was like, "Oh, I want to play Star Wars Lego." I'm like, "Okay." So we were playing some
Awesome.
Lego Star Wars before I came down here. And
Switch.
yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know any differently, right? But unfortunately, he I think we had beaten like 2 or 3 of the movies, and then he had like erased our saves. So he doesn't care though. He like just we play. He's 7, right? So we just play whatever. And yeah, haven't been
That's what I realized
gaming.
when I saw your photo. I was like, God, he's gotten so big. We've been
Yeah,
doing this for so
yeah.
long.
I mean, that was like, yeah, like I was very much for those. Not, I mean, we've done the origin story so every time I've been on, but yeah, I
Sure.
was a founding member of Shaq, and like I remember, like, we're pregnant. I'm gonna have to dial back the show involvement a little bit, and
Yeah.
that whole journey. And thought I could do 3 podcasts at one point, and then I was like, now I do 0 podcasts. It's funny how things work. But yeah, man, it's been interesting, like watching, much as you and other listeners have gotten to do over the years, is like watching your children like gravitate towards the properties that you did as a kid. And just funny how like that Nintendo world like captures their imagination, right?
Yeah.
Like my son does not, he likes Minecraft but doesn't have any interest in playing Minecraft. He likes just to watch videos and stuff of the world. And he's big into just sandbox play. Like, one of his favorite things still to play, this besides Mario Kart, his favorite game, probably his most played game, is Mario Odyssey. And he just
Wow.
likes to
Run around
and do whatever, because he can it gives him enough open world where he can kind of sandbox his
That
own
was me with
narrative and
64.
yeah, play the way like he wants to play, and like comes up with his own little story. Maybe today he's just going to jump on every toad's head 15 times, but that's that's what he does. And um he watches let's plays of that too every now and again, but he's found a bunch of power moons and just enjoys that. He likes Bowser's Fury a little bit too, but doesn't like Giga Evil
Yeah.
Bowser. Doesn't like that side of things. And we've played 3D World a little bit here and there, but yeah, he's enjoying that. He's played dabbled into Luigi's Mansion, and I think he's saw a commercial for Thousand Year Door and wants to check that out. So very
Wow.
much just kind of doing that thing. And I'm trying not to like, I will guide him and give him as much information as he wants, but I'm trying not to push him into fandoms, right? Like, he's
Sure.
like
Sure.
Star Wars, he likes Nintendo, and he likes this,
Let him
but
find his own thing.
I'm trying not to like, oh man, this is dad stuff. We're in it
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
type of thing. But yeah, it's just been fun kind of reliving things through his eyes. And like, we're in the world of beat 'em ups, Donnie, which I know that's one of our personal genres. So it's been great
Yeah.
playing Shredder's Revenge with him. And as we
Nice.
get a little more difficult things, we'll try up some different games. Like finally, like, oh my god, I'll finally play Scott Pilgrim with another player.
I think.
So
Do you have it already?
yeah.
Okay, I
Yep.
was gonna say because I think it's on sale for like $2. Like right now,
Yep,
it's
I have
it's
that, and
dirt
it's
cheap.
just fun to do that. And like for me personally, I haven't you haven't been up to much new in the gaming sphere. I've been just going through my backlog on Switch, and it's funny, I'll kind of come off and on it, and when I have time, I'll hop on the PC here and play a few things. But otherwise,
Mhm.
it's mostly just been like the Switch is still the easiest thing. If I'm trying to hit my reading goal of this year, so that's like one of my main focus. But then when I want to, I bring the Switch to work, and it's like, oh, lunch break, great. Bring
Sure.
that out for 35 or 40 minutes and play away, and that's been really good for RPGs and everything. I finally had finished Firewatch, which I know I'm like how many years behind the trend there, which was a few months back, and then
I
I
adore that game. I
it
love
was
that game.
it's just it's what I thought would make it easy about it was like, oh cool, I can play on the Switch, and then I can just knock out a little bit of the narrative each time. But then it also was like detrimental because a lot of time I'm playing the Switch with other things happening too, and it's like, oh, I don't want to just sit here with headphones on and like focus in
Yeah.
on the story. So
Yeah, I
that was
feel
like
like you gotta be more immersed
not
into
the great
that.
game to do that with. But I've been playing Crosscode is what I've put
Oh, wow.
most of my time into lately, and that was an indie. I don't want to use the term indie darling, but very
Yeah,
very
no, it was.
popular indie RPG on PC. I think was its original platform on Steam. I don't remember how many years ago, and it was ported to Switch. I think maybe 2 years within the
I
past
think it's
couple
longer than
years. I
that,
think
but yeah, something around there.
so. I've been playing through that. I think I've got like 30 hours into it so far, and I really enjoy. Like the sprite work is great, the music's fantastic, and I've enjoyed the like that real time action based combat. And I think what I really like about it, for those that unfamiliar, like the setting is like inside an MMO, like a real life MMORPG where the players are like connecting, controlling like avatars inside this environment. So it's just kind of unique, and it's funny from going from a place where I very much enjoyed those genres, but from a time commitment, personal commitment, I can't enjoy those as much as I can. It's been a weird way to kind of remember what that MMO space felt like, but through a single player narrative, right? Which is
Mm,
kind of wild. I have heard some criticisms with like the way the story wrapped up, and it just didn't feel quite so fulfilling. But I've also been heard that the DLC that came out for it like adds a bunch to that. So
corrects
I
that.
might check that out after I'm
Nice.
finished up with it. But yeah, it's been cool, and it's just been fun to play. And I think that was been on my to play list forever. And I think right at the same time I was able to get that, and I got that and Firewatch for like dirt cheap. I think they were
Yeah.
both on part of a sale months ago, and I snagged them for like I probably got them for both like under $5 or something like
I think
that.
I've
So
gone through Firewatch 4 times. If and when you ever find a time to wanna play it again, I wholly recommend, and this is not something I've ever done, I think, with most games, the director's commentary playthrough.
yeah, I thought about that.
They have, like, little stations set up. So it's not like a movie where you just have somebody talking over your movie the whole time. I've never really liked those. Every time I've tried to watch, I'm like, "What is the point of this?"
Hmm.
It's like, "Hey, would you like to watch a movie and listen to a podcast at the same time?" I always found it distracting. But these, they have, like, little stations and, like, little like, it's crafted into the game. It
Okay,
almost fills in, like, the quiet moments, but doesn't take away from the actual story moments, and it does provide a lot of context into what they were thinking and what they were trying to portray and the challenges to pull that off and stuff like that. I thought I got a lot out of it. And
I,
I've tried playing director commentaries a couple times. I don't think I've ever actually enjoyed them that to the point that I would ever recommend them. And then this one, it's like I kind of want everybody to see it. Like I think you got to
sure.
play it.
I've done them a bit with some of the LucasArts adventure games, like Grim
Yeah,
Fandango, Day of the
yeah,
Tentacle, some of those. But it's funny with Firewatch too. Like that's some of that content has popped up on my TikTok feed as well, and you see like the real life. Like this is
yeah.
the
I live in a fire. Yeah, I live in a.
yeah,
This
and
is what
it's
I
like
do in Fire Tile.
it's like wow, it looks like one to one. It's like this is Firewatch in real life. I mean, it's one to one. Like
I wonder if
damn,
that
okay,
game, like, got them was, like, a recruiting tactic for them. Over all of a sudden, like,
I'm sure.
25,000 people
I'm
wanted to
sure.
be fire watchers.
Or at least the Airbnb rentals
Oh wow.
spiked, right?
Yeah,
So,
100%. That's
so
cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm hoping
I love
my
what.
long dream for all this with I'm hoping to get back into Xenoblade 3 when all is said and done because
Really?
that fell off for me. I was playing that, and then I remember I got COVID, and I was home playing that, and then Splatoon 3 had just come out, and then I've made
Mm,
that's what derailed me is like I made the commitment to then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into the Splatoon right now, and then I dropped Xenoblade, and I
I'm gonna
want to
go back.
eventually go back and finish that. I think I was more than halfway through it, but I would love to like put a
Hey,
bow
it's
on
John
that one.
32 in the chat. I mean, people love that game. They love that story. My Xeno days are over. That's what the Switch taught me. The Switch has basically put an end to that, and potentially Pokemon. We'll see. I was gonna say I love where you are with your son, man. That's a really great time. It reminds me of when we started our podcast. That's exactly where I was.
Well, sure, exactly. I'm
You
like
know, like
7 years removed
7
from where
years
you
ago.
were
That's
with Jag. Yeah.
yeah, and you're right. And I did the same thing and let him find his own way. And my daughter too. You know, like back then it was such a great time. They were both young enough that they both played game. They loved games. That's all they wanted to do was play video games. So it was a license to spend. Like just buy it all. Like they love it. It you know, like we'll all share it. And through the years as they grew up to become teenagers, that's waned and lessened and lessened. And Jack is like all about Sea of Thieves and Roblox and stuff I have
Hmm.
zero interest in, and he's not really doing any of the Nintendo stuff
Mm.
much these days. I think until they announce the next Pokemon game, I don't think he cares. I think he'll try Echoes. I think because he still
Sure.
has like Zelda in him. He wants to play Zelda, but like he never beats them, which is fine. I don't care that
Hmm.
him, but like he'll play them. He plays them for like a day or two, and then it's back to Fortnite. You know, like it just doesn't stick. It doesn't last anymore. And then my daughter, she just doesn't play games at all. She's just uninterested. So, you know, I miss it. I miss those times. So enjoy them while you can. And yeah, let them find their own thing. My son also loves Firewatch.
Hmm.
That's his thing. His thing has become those sorts of games. He's
Okay.
Firewatch and Gone Home and Telltale and Batman and like all of these narrative adventure games, these point and click things. Like he just chews through them. He wants to play all of them. He's doing Edith Finch and all of those things. So that's his newfound
Okay.
gaming thing. I've played some games this week I can talk about. I am playing Phoenix Rising, which is on sale in the eShop for like I think $4.99. I think I had gold points, so in my head the game was like $2.99.
Okay.
It is ridiculously cheap right now. I think on the Ubisoft store on PC they're giving away for like $2, like $1.99. It is super cheap, and it's a game that I played for about 10 hours. My Switch or my Xbox save got corrupted.
Mm.
It was an issue with the cloud syncing thing. I think the same thing happened to Sean, and I
Oof.
never went back to replay it. You know, I cannot stand when I lose a game save. It's
Oh yeah.
probably my biggest peeve. And so it was on sale, and I was like, you know what? I felt like I was in the mood to do like some shrines. Like I was like, I am in the mood to like get back on that shrine grind, get like some puzzles, and so this is a good fit for that. Couple bucks,
Okay.
not too bad. I'm playing Duke Nukem.
Yeah. Which one?
I I think it's Duke Nukem 3D on the
Oh
Switch,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just finished Doom 64. I had to deploy some cheats there towards the end. Like it gets tough, man.
You're going back to full boomer shooter mode on us, huh?
I have, yeah. For the last couple weeks, I've played Half-Life, I've played Post Void, I've played Duke Nukem, I've played Doom 64, I've beat Doom 1, Doom 2, and Sigil, which is John Romero's Doom mod that they
Oh
put
yeah.
into
Yeah.
the game. I've beaten all of those things here recently, and I want to play Sin. I think is up on deck
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
So I've been reading John Romero's book. I'm not sure if you
I'm
saw.
gonna. That's on my my list, my short list to get to as well.
I bought the book from him on his website, and they have autographs.
Wow.
And they're
Okay.
very, very cheap. Like if you like, it's basically a worthless autograph. You can get that autograph for like $5.
Wow.
Like, so I was really excited when I found that out. I bought this little like plastic chainsaw that he sells, and
Yeah.
I had him
I was
autograph
gonna
it
ask about that. I saw
PS3.
that pop up on the little
Yeah,
picture feeds.
I was like, this is great. I can add it to my Doom shelf. So I have been doing all of that. I am playing this game. The only game that I really want to talk about is this game called Post Void.
Okay.
It's like it's an acid trip boomer shooter roguelite.
Whoa. Okay. I'm
It's
looking at some
very
pictures right
like
now.
Fear and Loathing, like crunchy, sleazy kind of art style. It's got to be the best game for like $3. The game is $2.99, I think, like the original, like retail, and sometimes you get on sale for like $1. I think you can beat the game in like 10 minutes if you can, if you're good enough. You just get dropped into like this, like I said, very Fear and Loathing Art Deco,
Yeah.
like hotel looking thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like a weird hand drawn esque
Yeah.
in the
And
animation.
you just run and gun. Like literally the moment you get dropped in, you shoot anything that moves and you run forward. And I kind of love how different and unique it is. Like one, I love that it's cheap. Like this is a great thing to like just throw together. Like the accessibility because the price is so low is pretty awesome. Two, I love that it's like it feels very punk in the sense that it's like it's unique and different and kind of like breaking the rules of like what we consider these games to be.
Mhm.
You know, like it isn't, you don't know where you're going. It doesn't really set up story. Like it really doesn't, it doesn't do a whole lot. You know, like there's like this little 8-line poem at the start,
That's what
and then
you
it's
get.
like, boom, here you go.
It's in
And
it.
there's a timer. So if you just sit still, you'll die and you'll be like, and not like a
Yeah.
2-minute timer, like 15 seconds.
So you
Like
just
if you're
gotta
not
run and
shooting
gun.
something, the run ends.
What's the little dealy thingy? What's that thing he's holding in your left hand?
That's
there?
your health bar.
Okay.
So you're holding like this head heart thing, and it fills up with like your life, your mana. Every time you shoot somebody, you fill that up. Every
That's
time
what
you
I
get
okay.
hit, that it decreases. And the whole point of the game is to get that to the end to where you can like sprinkle it down on, I don't know, some plant or something. I don't quite understand.
Okay.
I've played it a handful of times this week, mainly at work, like a lunch break thing, like it's something to pick up and play without
Yeah.
getting too invested. And I don't like rogues. Like this is not my thing. But I find this one kind of addictive because it's challenging, but it's fun. It's like I feel like I'm better at it when I've turned my brain off than when I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, you
Like when
kinda
I'm
get into
actually trying to
the
accomplish
zen of it.
something, I fail almost instantly. It's like I kind of gotta get lost in this muscle memory, like kind of, you know, like when you're driving and you get to work and you're like, wait a minute, was I just driving for that? That's
Yes.
when I'm at my best
Yes.
with this game. Versus when I'm actually trying to figure it out or trying to do something, I feel like I play it terribly. I don't know. It scratches some itch with me.
Only
That
$3?
it's super cheap. So if you're interested in anything even remotely like it, it's easy to recommend because it's so cheap.
Did you ever play I know we probably had a very brief conversation about it, but it was that I don't think it was a roguelike, but it was like the boomer shooter, the one that was very Lovecraftian. I don't remember what it was.
Forgive Me, Father.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Did you
Yeah,
ever play that one?
there's a
Was
sequel
that
too. Yeah, I've played them both. I like it. I like it a lot. It's not like for me, Dusk is going to be like the top of that.
Sure.
Dusk is it. Dusk is like everything I need from that. But Forgive Me, Father is very good. Forgive Me, Father is very hard. Forgive Me, Father is more puzzly too. I like that. It's more. There's lots of different like hidden paths and hidden doors
Yeah.
and switches and
Oh,
things
wow,
to
yeah,
do.
there's a sequel. Okay.
There's this one switch where you hit it and like people just start coming over the walls, like just like it relentlessly. That was cool. But I like that game. That game was
The
really
sequel
cool.
looks like a mashup between Lovecraft and Wolfenstein a little bit.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
how
100%.
it's-
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a good way of putting it.
Interesting.
Which that's another one I got to do is I got to play the original Wolfenstein. I never did, like Wolfenstein 3D.
Wolfenstein 3D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's on the to-do list.
Going back to my old days, I remember my aunt had just this random IBM computer, and we had shareware was the name of
Yeah.
the game back then, and you could just have every game was available, but you only could play like X number of levels, and then you'd have to actually buy it to get access to everything else,
Like
or
those
crack
AOL
it,
cards.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. And we had we had Wolf 3D, we had I think we had Doom, we had there was the one. What was that? It's a racing game that was like off road, I think, super off road or whatever. And there's a bunch of random things like that. But there was one I could never remember what the game was, but it was like a FPS. And all I remember from seeing it like in this computer lab was like you were in like this. There were like these scientists that they were NPCs. You could kill them, but they weren't villain. They were just NPCs that were there. But I can't remember. At one point, I thought it was maybe Marathon. The one of the first
Tribes.
FPSs that Bungie did, but it was like there wasn't
Tribes.
It didn't have the jetpacks or anything like that. It was very much
okay.
like it was single player, and it was really.
Huh.
And it's probably one of those things where like the nostalgia of your memory has kind of like tainted what you actually were seeing. But I've always tried to figure out what it was. But
did you ever catch the PSVG podcast that I did? I want to say about a month ago, where I talked about why I fell down this rabbit hole or anything like that.
I don't think so.
So I watched this documentary. This is the reason I bring it up. I can plug this documentary here if anybody cares to watch. It was Father's Day.
Okay.
I got an email on Father's Day. I was just sitting on the couch not doing anything. An email on Father's Day. I'm not sure if you remember, but a few years ago there was a horror documentary called In Search of Darkness, and I helped crowdfund it, and I was in the credits and everything. I got like this big poster made for it. Well, they sent me an email and they go, "Hey, we've got this documentary. We think you might like it. You can go buy it now. It's on sale." And it was called FPS, the definitive documentary on first-person shooters. And I've been doing this boomer shooter thing for a few years now, and I really like them. But I don't have like a full-blown appreciation for all the old games. I play Doom, but like I found Doom on Xbox and then like 360.
Right.
So I was late to the game. Right. Oh no, hang on. Way off. My first Doom was Doom 64.
Okay.
Which at the time I thought was Doom. Like at the time, like GameCube, I realized, oh, this isn't Doom. This is a whole separate game. But when I was 12 and I had my 64, I thought Doom 64 was just a 64 version of Doom. Right. So then as I get Xbox, then I start playing things like Quake and Unreal, and I find like the old Dooms, and and I started doing that. And then you get Switch and we have like this resurgence, right? And we get Dusk and we get Forgive Me Father and we get all these different things, and Warhammer 40K bolt gun. And I've loved these games. I'm like, oh man, I just want more of them. They're so tactile. It's such an easy thing to just like, it's just such gameplay, it's like it's just, I mean, the reductive term is just to call it comfort food, but it is like I could just pick up the controller and play, and it's fun to play. It's rewarding to play. I'm not waiting around like let me make my point with an example. There's this game that I wanted to play like all year. It just came out. It's on Game Pass. It's called Still Wakes the Deep. It's this like oil rig adventure horror game. I went to go play it, and I sit down and I'm walking around and I'm going to talk to everybody. And there's like every hallway has a map of where you are. So like, that's the map. You've got to like look on the wall to figure out where you are. And then I just turned it off. I was like, I don't want to do this right now. Like there's like a level of investment here that I'm just not wanting or willing to make, that I don't really ever encounter with these games. Like these games, it's like run, if something moves, shoot it, try to find some doors, try to find some switches, but it's like I can turn my brain off and play them, and have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this documentary. It's forever long, by the way. If you ever want to look into it, it's like 4 hours.
I pulled up the website. I have to buy it.
I bought it on Amazon for like, I don't know, $6-7. And it literally walks you through like the history of the genre, like back to like the 60s or 70s or something, like back to like Periscope games and arcade machines and like tank games, and it runs you all through. I learned so much more about these games that I like that I never knew before. Like it really filled in a lot of the gaps. That's why I played Half-Life. I've never played Half-Life ever. I was like, I got to play it. So I played all the way through it. I absolutely loved it. It was a great experience. I wish I'd had it sooner. So yeah, I've kind of been on that grind for a month or so, just trying to play a bunch of old stuff, trying to fill it in. Like I'm going to play Chex Quest, and I've bought a lot of these things. Super Noah's Ark 3D I bought.
Oh man,
I'm gonna play that too. So yeah, this is kind of all my
Okay.
thing lately.
This makes a lot more sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
watch this. I mean, yeah, like I grew like when I was PC gaming, and then coming into that, that's like, yeah, I think that's I don't want to say, yeah, I think you could safe to say maybe like the golden age of some of that genre, right? When you're coming up
100%.
with
And I
all of
think
those heavy hitters and just,
the Switch has played a huge part of this because while I have PC and it's got access to a lot of these that the Switch doesn't, the ones that the Switch has are excellent. And they're
Mhm.
like the best shooters on the system. Like you don't have Call of Duty,
right.
right? You don't have Battlefield. Fortnite's there, but it's kind of not the best version of Fortnite, but like Warhammer Bolt Gun is excellent on Switch. Dusk is excellent on Switch. The Doom collection is incredible on Switch. The Quake remaster, like these are great games that you can play right away, and they are right at home on the Switch. So that like retro shooter revival really tapped in. Like it's something that I've picked up in the Switch generation. Because I
Mhm.
don't know if I didn't have a Switch, I don't know how appealing all this would have been if I'm just sitting on my console. So like, oh, I can play a remastered port of Doom 2 again, or I could play the newest Call of Duty or the newest, like the new big thing. But with the Switch, I was like, well, I want a shooter. I
Right.
need a shooter on my Switch so I can play shooters when I want to, and these are the best ones. So I started playing them, and I was like, I kind of love these though. Like these are great. Um,
So you're telling me that Call of Honor didn't scratch that
yeah,
itch
Call of
for you?
Honor, Hero of Duty didn't get there, didn't get it done, man. I can't believe that
We
game's
have
like
Call of Duty at
that
home,
exists.
remember? Ugh.
That's hilarious. The last thing I did talk about, or that I wanted to talk about, is I played Switch Sports. I
I
booted it up. I wanted to play
wow.
the basketball, the little thing. I want to go check it out.
How disappointing was it?
It was fine. It is Wii basketball. Like it is the Wii Sports basketball. Like if you've ever played Wii Sports Resort, you can jump and shoot. You can pass. There's like this little paper, rock, scissors, steel thing. I've never really cared for the actual like play a game of basketball.
Mhm.
However, the 3-point shooting contest is super fun to play with friends.
Okay.
So if you've got locals to play, that's a really easy one to be like, you versus me. Let me see if I can beat your score. I mean, that's really good. It's like bowling and 3-point shot. Like those are great little pass the controller around play games. I enjoyed it. I played golf. It's it's fun. I Nintendo Switch Sports is not nearly as good because I don't think the Joy-Con is as
Yeah.
good as the Wii remote, right?
Yeah.
That's its fault. That's fallacy. It's not the game. Had the game been a pack-in, I think people would love Nintendo Switch
Mhm.
Sports. Because it's $60, it gets
Yeah.
graded on that curve. If you can ever get it cheaper than that, like there's still a lot to like with Nintendo Switch Sports. What they've done with multiplayer, for example, and online is really cool. Like there's a lot of good online modes if you want to play that. Um, and then the local modes are more of the same of what we've always had. I like golf. Golf has 3 courses.
Yeah.
So there's like the classic course, the resort course, and then there's like a
Yep.
challenging course, like a remix. But yeah, I played it. It's fine. I wouldn't go out of your way to go get it because basketball's there or anything like
Yeah.
that. But
It
you know,
gets a rotation in my house just because my wife and my son, they'll like to play bowling. We'll
bowling.
do the
Yeah.
golf. We'll
My wife
do
likes bowling as well.
tennis. So that's fun and something the whole family can play. But we were actually playing when we were in the pool over vacation. We were doing what's the sword fighting one called? That's what he wanted to play in the pool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my
Because
kids
it's
love that one.
yeah, he likes
Both of
that
my
too.
kids love
So
that one. My
he'll
daughter, that's the
play
one she
he'll
wants to
play a
play.
2-player by himself just because he likes to just hit. You just
Yeah.
which I get for his age. It's cool because you get almost that 1-to-1.
I
I'm
kind
moving
of
my
wish
hands with the sword and
they released a like an accessory or controller for this.
yeah, I could see that.
Like, I don't think a lot of people would share that opinion. I think a lot of people, I'm not buying another, but like I think I would have.
What if they
If they
did
were
it?
like,
What if you just chill out to the what if we took the bones of that, you slap a Star Wars skin on it, and you can get a lightsaber hilt
that'd be
attachment? I mean,
incredible.
people would
People
buy
would go
that.
bananas for
Yeah,
that. But like I'm thinking if they were like, because they've done this a few times, right? They've accessorized the Super Nintendo controller, the Nintendo controller, the Nintendo 64 controller, the NES controller. If they had come out with like a Wii controller or something like that. I was like, hey, like you don't have to have this. It's an optional accessory. But the comfort, the grip, the accelerometers, the motion is way better with this if you want to play Switch sports. I 100% would have bought it because like golf, my biggest fault with golf is that like the Joy-Con cannot travel very fast or
Mhm.
the power bar just goes
Yeah.
ape shit. You know, so you can't like you almost have to swing in slow motion and it's not fun.
Yeah. It's easier just to swing one-handed with like
Yeah,
a
it's
weird,
fun.
yeah.
It's easier to flick than it is to actually make a
Yep.
swing. It's like I want to swing. If I could just swing like I did with the Wii mode, I'd love it. I play it all the time.
But Donnie, you put on the leg strap and do the soccer kicks, and there's your attachment.
That's
That's
it.
what you
Yeah.
get.
Well, it's funny, like what I'm saying. Like they made the ring. You've got the ring fit. You've got a leg attachment. Why can't we just get a motion control like controller? That'd be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I played that, which just came out. So if you've got Switch Sports and you haven't played it, you can boot it up and play basketball or not.
I'm
Just actually
hoping
play
in my
something
near
better.
future, one of my coworkers and I've played against them before. They just get one of the guys bought a house. You know, being in your young 20s, getting when somebody buys a house, your friends, you got to move in together. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
me and we've been playing online. We went 10-1 the other night. They're playing Smash online.
nice.
I was like, oh, I guess I'll have to start training. He's like, yeah, if you ever want to come over, I'm like,
Oh,
okay. So
Flex with Flux. He's already called you out. Oh,
now
Rocky montage.
we played once before and it was bad.
Oh no.
I humbled him,
Ah,
but it was fun.
he's over there getting those reps in. He's got the hearts on fire music in the background. All right, let's get to some of this news. In a story that I most certainly will butcher, not to the likes of Rebecca. We got an update from Nintendo Switch Online that all 3 Starfy games, which were originally released in Japan, are available on Switch with Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. I've never played these games.
I'll be honest, I barely have heard of these games, but it sounds like from what I've gathered, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
So people are happy
same.
about this, and that's
Rebecca, I
great.
think, loves these games. So
I don't know what they are. So
I want to play. I say I want to play them. I looked into them because they look very like kind of Kirby-ish, which looks cool.
Mm.
But it's like got this underwater like glide float thing, and I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
You know, like that's all. I'm judging a book by its cover hard here. I watched 15 seconds of gameplay, and I was like, oh, maybe never mind. I don't know. I will probably try one. I never had a GBA. I never had a DS either. So I have never played this game.
I had a DS, but a criminally small library for the DS. But I was also like I was at the older age of probably the intended spectrum. So I was like, yeah, I was that I'm too cool for Nintendo, age. So
yeah. Nintendo released a trailer this week, a teaser trailer of this very dark, mysterious game with this character, this very horror themed character. At the end of the trailer was some Japanese text that essentially said, "Where's Imio?" I think. I don't even know if I wrote all this down right. No, hang on. I thought I had that wrong. The text translated to "smiling man," which is what the character. I guess he's got like the smile in the bag head and all that.
Got, like the paper bag.
And the trailer had the hashtag "Where's Imio?" Or "Who's Imio?" Where's Imio? Where's Waldo in my head? Old millennial brain working. Yeah. So who's Imio? This is kind of taken the Nintendo net by storm. People love a good mystery, an internet mystery to try and figure out. So people are desperately trying to connect the dots here. It started off, people were suggesting that this might be a Bloober Team project because I think earlier in the year, Bloober Team had acknowledged that they were working on a project with Nintendo that they called Project M. And you've got Who's Imio and Project M, and if you make sense, you're like, oh, these are maybe the same thing. But IGN has come out and said that their sources are saying that this is not Bloober Team involved. It's yet to be confirmed or denied, but you've got people, I'm just saying, you got people on both sides kind of pointing fingers. Maybe more importantly, though, in the Australian classification board, this game has been rated to include strong themes of violence and suicide references. as well as violence, cruelty, domestic abuse, and suicide themes. This is unlike anything Nintendo has published or made, especially if they are actually indeed creating it, like if they are developing. Have you seen any of this at all?
I did. Well, I saw I saw I don't know what word. I mean, I saw the buzz about it when the trailer
Yeah.
released, right? And then there's like
Yeah.
Nintendo horror game. I'm like, what? So of course you have to click into it, and it's just what I think of when if you think of like Japanese horror, like that's kind of what
Sure.
it comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
everything so like it's intriguing to say the least, especially just if we go from historics of what Nintendo's ever done directly, you know. So like, wow, okay. And
If
if
they're
I mean,
developing it, they've published a lot of mature rated games. I don't know if they've developed one like
right,
in-house.
right. Yeah, I don't think so, because even everything they've ever no, I don't
So I
think so
think like
either.
Eternal
So
Darkness and Bayonetta and stuff like that, they've published games, but
yeah, they
not
published for sure, but
made them.
yeah.
I would assume when I first saw it, I was like, maybe this is like some sort of Little Nightmares thing.
Mm.
And I was wondering if maybe they were involved because like that's just kind of the vibe I was getting. But yeah, I don't know. Until we know more, it's like it's hard to speculate too much,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely captured the audience, right? I like just searching on it. It's like fans are puzzled about what this is. Is it an edgy viral marketing for Switch 2, or is it some first party Nintendo horror game? And it's like I don't think it's probably not marketing for Switch
If
2, but
this drops at like Halloween or around that time, and they keep like they've done a really good job. I'm assuming my assumption would be my guess is that this is a smaller project, cheaper development, indie style, like AA first party
Mm,
game or second party game, maybe. And if that's true, then the attention that they've captured with the teaser trailer is probably gonna pay off great. Because whether it's good or bad, I think a lot of people are probably gonna play it. because of just because of the hype the trailer got. And
yeah,
yeah, so the internet sleuths, they're all trying to figure because at
sure.
the end there was like a splash page, just a Nintendo logo. There's not a whole lot there to find. I hope they would just stealth drop it.
Ooh,
Like
yeah,
that would be how you would do something. Like don't do reviews, don't do another thing, don't have it in another direct and be like, let's tell you about our game. Like you already have their attention. It's already there. You don't need it.
sure.
You don't need it. Just stealth drop it. Like just put it up one day and let people. It reminds me a lot of what they did, what PlayStation and Kojima did with PT in the PT
Mm-hmm,
demo.
mm-hmm.
He walked out and he's like, "Hey, I just got this thing I'm working on." And here's like, and people are like, "Oh, what's that?" Okay, and then they start finding it, they start sharing, they start streaming it, and that would be what I would want from this. But we'll see. It's hard to like. It's hard to like I said, speculate too much, but it's hard to even get excited because I don't know what we're in for. Like I don't know exactly what kind of game this is. So who
Yeah, I
knows?
mean, is it going to be could very much be some weird puzzle game? Could it be a
Yeah,
first person? Could it be like a story narrative? Yeah, not sure, but I'm here for it. It's exciting
same.
to for something like that. We definitely be interested to see what a Nintendo take is on
Yeah,
that. I mean,
it's them
we
being
just don't know,
weird.
right? It's easy to speculate, but
We haven't
we just
seen them
don't
be
know.
weird in a bit. It's them
Yeah,
coloring out of the lines. I appreciate that. That's all. Like, give me more of that stuff. Let them develop some unique stuff. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm here for it. As I mentioned earlier, 332 weeks ago, more or less, the Switch kicked off. As of this week, Nintendo Switch is now Nintendo's longest serving home console,
wow.
setting a record in the company's history, displacing the NES. Did you ever imagine back in the Wii U when we were chasing this thing as the NX that you'd be sitting here in 2024 still playing that same console and it being as successful as it was?
I mean, no, because we got conditioned to, I think, to what the console cycle was. We're going to get like 5 years,
Yeah.
if that, and we're going to have something else. And I mean, we liked the Wii U, but I think we were pretty humble about knowing that we knew it wasn't a success, right? So
Yeah.
you had pretty meager expectations for what a successful successor would be.
To me, in my
right?
head, the Switch was a success if it could reach the 3DS.
Yeah. Like I
That's
just wanted Nintendo not to be the laughing stock of the industry again, right? That was
yeah.
like what I wanted, and just have that. And then I think by everyone's expectations, the Switch came out and just destroyed all of those. Right? We had no idea what it was going to be, and just I think the staying power of what this outdated technology has done, right? Because then it just goes to show what Nintendo's model usually is, right? It's not, we're not going to drive the industry forward with cutting edge uh graphic fidelity, right? It's going to
Sure.
be the experiences and the game design and what they craft in that area, and how that's how their systems are carried.
Technology only matters as far as the games can push it.
Yeah.
You know,
So
the Xbox is supremely powerful and has good games, but not great. Everybody must have them, must buy console games. Otherwise, they'd sell more. And that's
sure.
not a shot at them. It's just real. The Wii U was an amazing console that I have continued to say, but it came with a gimmick that people weren't willing to accept, and therefore
Mhm.
was a colossal failure. You know, so it's more than just a spec sheet. It's more than just technical specifications. More than just teraflops. They do matter, but only to the point where is there a game on it that people want? Like what matters most is the software. What are you actually playing? What are you actually doing with the machine?
Give me more Wara Wara Plaza, right? I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, that was the thing. I don't want to wax poetic here on Wii U or anything like that, but that was like there
Do
were
it.
like
That's
that
what
was
we
like
do
the
here.
weird. There were like those weird little niche things that made that system correct. Like I remember the startup sounds,
Yeah.
like how you got the different sounds that came from the the controller. Like when you had an update or a news, how it when you get the little sound effect from there, like that was like there was just like that spirit that came with that Nintendo console, like
Yeah.
that it was very much
That's
a
something I want them
it's
to
a whimsical
do.
system, right? And it I don't know, it brought me back, right? I don't know, I'm going along about way to this answer, but it brought me back from being, I had a Nintendo, an NES as a kid because that's what you had, and then I was very much the target marketing and went to a Genesis, and then never went never owned a console until the GameCube came out, and then like that kind of brought me back, and then I was interested in a Wii and didn't get it because it was just so hard to get at the time, and I didn't want to camp
Mm-hmm.
out for a system, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then like the Wii U was like the reminder of what Nintendo always was, and then that gets you back and excited about everything. And I just remember, yeah, thinking about, man, what is the NX going to be? And we're picking apart every little thing that we could possibly get. The little football leak that it was like going to be this little weird oval dongle thing, like so much of that. And even what we finally, I remember the one episode art I made for Shaq where it was like, our Matomo characters in front of the Zelda Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild screen, and what we thought what the system could be, and it was very much 3DS inspired by its design. But we were so hungry and ravenous for anything of this, and then we finally got that reveal, and it just came out, and just I think we knew it would be in our hearts of hearts, right? Thought it was going to be successful, but had no idea to what degree that
Yeah.
success would end up
Definitely did.
being, right?
I was thinking 3DS. I was like, man, if they could get to 50, 60 million, like what a great turnaround. And then they just absolutely crush that. You make a great point with the speaker and the sounds. It's actually something I would really like the Switch 2 to do. I was thinking that when I was playing Astro with the DualSense,
Mm,
and the PlayStation's got
hmm
the controller accents the gameplay. It makes noises and effects and stuff that come out of the controller. Nintendo should pick that up. They should definitely be doing that too. I could see that totally being a thing with like Mario or Zelda for sure.
it feels like the way, too, like before like they that straddle the two ecosystems, right, with the handheld division and the home console division, and now this is just, let's
Yeah, it's
bring
a
that
lot
all
of
into one. And
yeah, that's his
um
ultimate legacy, right? Like let's unify this. We're splitting our base, we're splitting our development, everything costs more, it's double. Right? They're porting games from one to the other and back and forth. Like you don't have to do it. Unify.
yeah,
Let's unify
and I
this
didn't
one
know how much I
streamlined thing.
wanted this until I had it, right? And like, and I think that what we've seen with, because we've had handheld, we've tried, this has happened before, we've had it with the Shield and all these things that have come
Hmm.
before it. but never had the. And I don't know if that's Is it the library that was there? Or was it just the Nintendo's name that gave it some more early buy-in? Or
Both.
but what we've seen so much now with the success of Steam Deck, with the success of the Ally, with all these other, like when I was on vacation, I saw there was a kid sitting out on the porch of their condo or whatever they have out there, and I'm not sure it was I think it was an Ally he was playing. It was a handheld computer console, right? So it's like
Wow.
that's much more. I think the direction that maybe I don't know. I'm never been on the pulse of the industry.
No,
Like
you're spot on. That's
but
it's all the
I
rage
feel
right
like
now. You're spot on. That's the
that's
trend.
where we're really seeing to head, and people want that. More of our lives are on the go and accessibility.
That's where the innovation in
So
like the tech and the chip, that's where
Yeah.
that's coming from. It's coming from that realm, not the PC tower box. Like we have
Everything
it,
getting
and we
smaller,
get better graphics
faster.
cards and stuff, but it's the efficiency. They're closing the gap over there.
Yeah.
So that's where all the money is.
It's been great to see, and it's been awesome for someone that's been a fan of the company for as long. And I know Nintendo gets their people that are very anti-Nintendo for their business practices, how they approach emulation, how they protect their IP and all this. And but I will always still support and be I hate using the word fan as when you're talking about a company or organization, but I mean it's for me it goes back so long, and I've been familiar with their properties for, I mean, I'm almost 41, and the last that was like my first, even some games I had before that, but my earliest memory still is of getting an NES, and just early childhood memories. And then that's just like a core of my they're always going to have me as a consumer because of that nostalgia, those rose colored glasses. Right. But I mean, that's why I enjoy what they do. And for what I shared at the beginning of the show, because the stuff that they produce and create captures the imagination in the minds of children in such a way that it makes these awesome shared experiences. And already we've had so much fun as a father and son exploring those worlds together. So it's like, how can I not,
he'll remember those forever.
Right.
So I know my kids will, and they may not care now, but I guarantee you one day they will.
Yeah.
One day they'll look at those controllers with those same rose colored glasses, maybe when they have kids.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll want to do the same.
This is why I'm sitting on I use the term pile loosely, but this is why I'm sitting on a pile of money that day one this is announced. I'm going to go
you.
And bought. Remember talking to me. I'm always
GameStop
the most shrewd and cheap ass person with money. You're like, you got to get this. You got to get this. I'm like, no. You're like, you just use a credit card. I'm like, no, I can't do it. You got to do this. You're like, and I remember talking
Jason, I bought a car yesterday.
Switch day one, was I there? Yes, I found it. Sold off the Wii U, did it, got it. And already I'm like, just tell me when. Shut up, take my money. Fry.gif.
I'm with you there.
It's happening,
100%.
right? So
I can't wait.
Not
it's
many
gonna be
other
a fun
things
day
get me to do that. So
when it actually gets announced, when we have that trailer, and it's gonna be a fun day.
I mean, and my son's gonna be old enough, and I can use it because when it was just me, I can't sell that.
Oh, this is gonna be like his first launch.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Dude,
where I can't go honey, I'm not going to work today. I got to play video games.
So
I can't do that when things come out anymore. That doesn't work. But if it's my son's involved and get him excited about it, then it's
you have to. You have to
do it, right? So
those are so. Oh, Jason, I'm jealous,
he was negative a couple weeks when the Switch was launched.
That was us for the Wii U. I was there. That was us for the Switch, for several 3DS editions. I've kept my kids back because we're going to the store to pick up the new Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
I try to stoke those flames. Those nostalgia flames. I try to make it a moment. Let's go out to breakfast. Let's go somewhere cool. Let's make it memorable.
Sure.
I love it. That's awesome, dude. A couple more headlines. Switch Lite Hyrule Edition went up for pre-order at Best Buy. I have yet to buy one.
What?
It's all the adulting.
I saw when it was in the Shack chat. It dropped, and I was like, "Oh, there he goes."
It's all the adulting. I've had so many car repairs. I had to buy a new car. It's so many extra things that I know $100, $200 isn't going to break or make the difference here, but it feels irresponsible. It feels irresponsible. It's like I've spent so much money
and maturing before my eyes.
We'll see. I'm still not. We'll see. We'll see how it lasts. In the back of my head, I'm like, maybe I'll get one later.
Is there something you could flip right now, Donnie, that would cover it?
Oh, I've got plenty of things to flip, but do I want to?
Yeah.
You know, like, do I want
You
to?
don't need that PS5s anymore. You've had your fun with it for a bit. Just get it out of
I
here.
gotta play Astro. The new Astro's not even out yet. So, and actually, that is probably where the rub is. I'm looking at it like I could buy the Switch or I could buy 3 or 4 games.
Yeah. That's already what I did with my son. There's an arcade up north. And that, of course, like from Chuck E. Cheese, the Great with Watch, he likes arcade. My wife gets very much into the claw game. So it's very easy to walk into an arcade, drop $75 to $100 in 15 minutes, right? That's just what they're designed to do. And already I've taught him, like, he wanted to keep playing. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that, because we could have bought you a new Nintendo Switch game for that much money. And like, that's the opportunity cost.
And that's the
here.
thing.
Like,
it's like, I want to buy, not like amazing game. Like, I want to buy that Funko game, and I want to buy Shadows of the Damned, and I want to buy Silent Hill, and I want to buy Horizon Avengers. And like, these are the games in addition to Echoes and Donkey Kong and Mario Party, like all the games I'm already planning on buying. It's a lot of games. They do stack up. Like, my gaming bill adds up. And I'm like, do I want to get the Switch Lite, which is a shelf ornament? It'll sit on the shelf. I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
Or do I actually want to use that money to get 3 or 4 games?
They're finally going to get me to buy Mario Party. My son's probably at the age now
Mario
too,
Party looks so good, dude.
This one finally looks like the Mario Party we deserve, right? So
a great way to send the system off. But I got to buy. Like last night, I told you I stayed up way too late. What was I doing? Looking up mods for the car and buying mats and seat covers and car covers and accessory. Like, I need a new phone mat. Like, all that adds up, so it's like, this is bad timing on my behalf. Had it been available when it was announced, I would have bought one, and it would have been done.
You had exhibit over your back shoulder telling you got to pimp that ride, and you said, yes, 100%. I do.
So like, I had a $160 credit at Amazon because I had bought a tablet that I didn't like and returned it like a year ago, and it's just been sitting there, and I was withholding it for these games. I was gonna just use it on the Switch Lite. I was like, I already have, like, it's basically paid for. I'll just use this. That thing has still yet to hit. It's still not on Amazon. So it's only at Best Buy. It may be exclusive. It's like, it went up on that. It has not gone up anywhere else but Best Buy in like a week. So I used all that money last night on the car stuff. So
did there? I haven't followed up on or looked anymore. Are the whole, like, the eShop cards, are those still not on Amazon too? Is there still?
They're still not. Yeah, something's going on with them in Amazon. So I don't know what it is. Like, they're still selling games. Yeah. The Switch games are there. There's still stuff, but like, yeah, something's weird. I don't know.
That's weird.
I'm not sure if they're like, they may not be doing digital stuff anymore either.
Hey, I still have Metroid Prime. I still have Metroid Prime 4 pre-ordered on there. So some year I'm getting a free copy of Metroid Prime 4.
But like, you could buy, you could buy digital
at $42.
You could buy digital Switch codes on Amazon and like gift them to people and stuff. Like, I'm not. I think maybe I read that maybe that's not happening. I don't know. I don't really do a whole lot of my gaming shopping on Amazon anymore.
Remember when we could get when Amazon did the pre-order discounts? You got the games for like $15 off.
Yes.
Plus you'd get the digital deluxe points.
That
was the best.
So I was actually just telling Dev and Delvin about this. I've actually moved most of my gaming purchasing back to GameStop. All these years later because of that. Like, we used to be rewarded by Amazon and Best Buy, and we had the Gamers Club, and like, all of that has really gone away. And like, the physical box stores, they have very little games like on either floor space or even like online. The selection is low. Best Buy basically isn't just, they don't care anymore. They don't want to do it. I feel like my Walmart's gaming thing has like been put down to like one case. And I was just like, I buy a lot of games. I buy a lot of them. Like, I'm like a superpower, purchaser. And it's like, I want to go somewhere where that adds up. And like, the best deal that I can find so far is GameStop. Like, I buy my stuff at GameStop, especially on Switch, because I'm still buying Switch mostly physical. And I get my rewards points and I can cash those in every so often. And they've got the what is it? I don't want to say it's Prime. What do they call it? The GameStop Power Up or whatever it is. You got your, you got their membership discounts, their member days. You can save a lot of that. And we get like a free pack of Pokemon cards and stuff to hop in. $5 off every month. There's like stuff there. I'm always working the margins. That's how I afford to buy so many things. It's like if I got to come out 100% out of buy, I'm going to buy less games. So, yeah, I've definitely been feeling that squeeze. I'm as more and more of these things go away or don't offer, it's like, you just start buying more and more digital.
Yep.
Which is, I think, the point. That's kind of what they're trying to do. They're slowly pushing us into that. Everything's here.
We buy physical for my son, and then I'm just, but yeah, like what? I've just moved to digital as well, just because I'm not going to probably resell any of the games, and it's just
sure,
especially if I can get the voucher, and I do when I can, take advantage of the Costco deal where you can get the gift cards on a discount, and then flip it with the vouchers, and then you end up getting, like I did that, you get 2 games for, especially if one of those games was like what I did with Tears of the Kingdom. One of those games is $70, and you still get it for the voucher price. I mean, every dollar you can save right now. I mean, you gotta take advantage of it.
So that's what I'm up to. Castaway, a bite-sized indie game inspired Link's Awakening, drops August 16th for $8. I'm beating that.
I saw it when it was shared. I think, did you share the trailer?
I shared the launch date announcement the other day, but we've been tracking this one for a little bit.
Yeah, inspired. That's I'll use that term a little loosely, but I mean,
clone copied.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks cool.
I'm sure there's more there, but
I'm sure there is, but yeah, it looks good because it looks like what you remember Link's Awakening like. I mean, even the rock sprites are like dead on. I mean, the and maybe that's intentional too. Like I'm sure it is. The layout of that first shipwreck scene was like,
wow, I think that's it. They're definitely
very
trying to go for it on that
scene.
Yeah. But $8, they said you could beat it in a couple hours. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Okay. This is
nice
awesome.
Little bite size.
Yeah.
Much like your, I never played the sequel to Blossom Tales, but like that Nintendo or the Zelda love letters, right?
Game Mill Entertainment announced the Karate Kid Street Rumble, a 16-bit beat 'em up.
I gotta look this.
I actually think it looks pretty good. Game Mill is not my go-to for games. Like their recipe over there for making games isn't always the best. Some of them are good, other ones are less than good. This one looks like it could be pretty good.
Wow.
If you're into the Karate Kid, it looks pretty fun.
I mean, Karate Kid is something from my childhood, but I'm not too big into it. But I like the sprite design, looks good. As long as the gameplay holds up, I mean, it's got all the things we like about.
Chances they've licensed You're the Best to get in there.
Oh, you have to have that in there.
There's no way.
Either 2 ways to do it. Either have it at the pivotal part of the movie, of the game, or if you had like some multi team up attack, it plays that when you're all using.
What if they did it in like chiptune
at the same time? Oh, it's got to be in chiptune.
Let's get into some questions, Jason. I'm going to throw this one back. Let's see if anybody catches up on figure out what this means. DK Magpie rides in something I haven't read in like 330 episodes. Have the odds of untranslated Mother 3 on Nintendo Switch Online improved since the drop of Starfy 1 through 3?
No.
Yeah, 100%. Crusher, Jason. Just absolutely not. No, there's no chance. No chance in hell. Canadian Crawler says, should Nintendo stick to the Nintendo Switch Online featured 1-week trials or switch more to a Game Pass PlayStation subscription service? I enjoyed Sparks of Hope during the Nintendo Switch Online trial and roll credits, but I wish I would have played it a bit longer instead of having to race through it. Well, Canadian Crawler, that's the point. That's the whole point of the trial, is to give you that inflection point to hopefully push you into buying the game.
Boy, I didn't know they would let you roll credits on a trial. I thought
no, you can play it as long as you want during that period. Like, it is the game.
Okay.
I do think they should do. I mean, look, they're not going to.
No.
Why? Because they don't have, because they can put a game up for a weekend and they're not going to. Nintendo's not going to, but I want them to. I've long ventured. I think they should have an indie pass. I think they should have like 4 or 5 curated Nintendo indies that you can download and play through at all times. and it should be like Golf Story and Hollow Knight, and not day one, nothing even remotely like that. Like a year later, like when sales for those have cratered, they should have like a little space where they can promote and highlight a few indie games that they've worked and marketed. And I think it'd be great for those games, those developers, especially if those developers come out with sequels or new projects. It'd be a great way to plug what they've done before. And hey, the Indie Pass is up. It's something I've been pushing for a long time. I do wish that they did more with their NSO, but it's hard to ask for more when the price is so low and they're so, they've given you so much. I think for the price, NSO is, the value proposition is very high. So I'm not expecting them to do anything like that.
Yeah, that's I feel like nothing that's been on a trial has ever enticed me to like download it and actually play it, because I feel like most of the time their games have already have, or it just
would be nice if their trials were a little bit more current.
Yeah, and it just doesn't move the needle for me. I mean, there's been some
Sparks of Hope was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved the first game, but never even finished the DLC for it. And I want to try Sparks of Hope, but you can get that game so cheap, and I still haven't, jumped on it. And at this point, I probably won't, But I think I'd be more. I think for me, sometimes it's that temporariness of it, where you're just going to lose it. So it's like hard because I know I'm not going to get all the way through it. So I don't know. I think I'd be more apt to something that gives me a little more permanence if I had access to a library or something that I could continue to play. Right. I think that would probably be more enticing for me personally.
100%. G-Man says, you have a pool party with characters from any video game. Who is there? And what will people bring? And I am totally going to turn this into a pervy question.
Lara Croft, Chun-Li.
100%.
What do they don't even bring anything else, right?
I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You can't ask us that question. I was like, Pura, Camilla.
Cast from Dead or Alive.
Yeah. What are you doing, man? You should know better than this. Hopefully they're not bringing anything. So there's your answer, G-Man.
Yeah,
you did this.
Don't blame me. You did this. A little bit.
This is your fault. Yarden writes in
Sunday morning.
With EA College Football releasing this week, does it even matter anymore? And the answer is no, Yarden. Probably not. At least not for some time. Because they took off this week. I'm actually thinking I'll probably try to take off next week because I won't have anything to talk about Shaq. Because this week was nothing but NCAA football for the foreseeable future. Everything will cease. All games will cease to be played, and it is NCAA until further notice.
Oh man,
I am dying to get my hands on and into this game. I've waited for this game for so long. We talked about this on the earliest PSVG episodes.
Yeah.
So, and I've played the 400,000 hours of Retro Bowl ever since. Mm-hmm. I went through and customized the original Retro Bowl I've remade the game with college teams so I could get that fix.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked. I really, really hope that this game comes to Switch 2. I think it would be a really good thing for EA to try. Like, we all know that EA did not support the Switch out of the gate. Sure. They have admitted that they wish they did. They do have football, right? They have like soccer. They have FIFA. I hope that when the Switch 2 is announced, that EA is announced and they're going to do something like have a port of a Madden or something. But I think this game, if they can make a portable version of NCAA football on Switch 2, the amount of people that would double dip, that would buy the game again, I think that would really boost their sales.
I think there's definitely a market for the sports enthusiast, right, on Switch, and I think it's still that it hasn't really been satiated, right, with what.
And even if you did the
especially if we do the full simulation type thing route, not like your arcadey retro stuff.
100%. Yep. That's a big reason why I bought it on Xbox, and a big reason why I did is eventually the game will go into EA Play, which means that it'll be in Game Pass, which means I can stream it. So I can play it on my tablet or something from work like that. I was like, I need access to it when I'm not at home.
Sure.
And I would love to see Nintendo get in the mix there. Kyle the Pug says, do you think Nintendo will ever mention Emio again? And if they do, what would be a good way for them to shadow drop the next teaser? My idea was have somebody from NOA tweet out a QR code at midnight, similar to how WWE Uncle Howdy QR codes that come out break the internet.
I don't know. I think somehow you gotta jump on some of the more viral style marketing, but I feel like kind of like what you alluded to too is like some sort of this Nintendo going to do that? Probably not. What are they maybe best at is some sort of shadow drop type thing, right? Like the fact that what I've loved about recent Nintendo is how much we didn't know about
Yeah.
recent Nintendo. Just like there's a Zelda game, we had no idea there was a Zelda game. Like that stuff doesn't like when stuff doesn't
Where
leak.
you play as a
That's the
Zelda, where you
best.
play as Zelda. Yeah.
So like the fact that I would hope that we know as little as nothing about this game or what's going on, and then it's just poof, there it is, or something like
That's
that,
what I would
or
do.
you.
Knowing Nintendo, they'll have like some partner direct in September where they're like, let's talk about Emio.
40 minutes of
Emio
Emio.
is sad. It's
Emio,
just like,
Emio is here.
oh no.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they do. I would just shadow drop it. I would love for them
Yeah.
to do something like that.
What do we see first? Emio or Team Cherry get that game out the door?
Emio. I don't think. I mean, in my head, I don't think it's going to be all that long for Emio, because I just think it's a small like budget game. I really do. I don't know why I do, but that's the impression I get from the trailer. It's like going to be an experimental budget type game that they get out there, and I think that's why they didn't like really put it in with any of their other promotions. It wasn't in a direct or anything like that because they don't want to like oversell it, and probably they don't want it to reach a huge base because it's so different, right? They're kind of giving it like side piece action. But yeah, I think Emio probably comes up before that. I thought you were going to say Switch 2, and they're which one do we see first? The actual Switch 2 or Emio?
Ooh, Emio.
You think?
That feels like it at this point.
I feel like we're almost into August. Once we hit September, then I'm in like it could literally be any day now. And that'll last like all the way through December. Like just any day in this, we are in the window now.
I think we got to see something before the holidays, right? Because then that'll.
I think they want to get through
some console purchases.
I think they want to get through a few of their releases probably without them being like completely, lessened by the weight of a new console. So I think they want to do that. That's been like Rebecca's thing. She's been on this one for about a year, and she might be right. They may want to get through the season and then announce it, just so there isn't like that giant weight on their new titles. I don't know, but I would imagine by the end of the year we'll see it for sure. But we'll, you never know with them. Like, are they planning to launch in March? Are they planning to launch next November? We're going to be here a year from now talking about the same damn thing. Who knows? It's up to them. They totally could. They've got Metroid Prime and stuff. Like, it's not like they don't have games.
Sure.
But I'm assuming that we'll see something this quarter, and I think it's coming out like spring. I think they're setting themselves up to like relaunch in the same way they launched the first time. But who knows? I've said I think I've probably given 18 predictions on what they're doing with Switch 2 and have been wrong every single time. So, who knows? Apple Blade. In the event Nintendo adds achievements to the Switch successor, how could they improve on the formula used by other platforms to give it a Nintendo flavor?
I mean, when I think of the Nintendo flavor, I guess, and this type of functionality, I feel like they tie it to. I guess my initial thoughts go back to like badges and icons and how they've done
stamps,
some stuff like that you could then use either on your profile or like I don't know. I want to see Miiverse come back. So like some way get like tie it into that too. Like you unlock some crap that you can display on like a Miiverse trophy page, or like you have, I don't know, something like you combine, like think of like with the Splatoon 3, how you had your locker decorating and stuff like that. Like some sort of little personal, you had your shelf or something that you could, I don't know, put your junk in there. I don't know.
Yeah, like profile dress up stuff sounds like something they would do. It's not something I'm particularly interested in.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it like like fun. Like, what do they do? Because they are kind of very much into like they restrict so much of their multiplayer to like just like little pretext bubbles and stuff like that. Because you can see that they care a great deal and they're trying to lessen like the online toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like let's just not let them have the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
And I wonder like how knowing how they see that with like online communication, I apply that to achievements. I'm like, what do they do with that?
Right.
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, they've got like the rewards coins and stuff. I guess they could do something like that, like gold coins. Or I don't think they want to give you
You
anything for
get
actually
platinum
playing the game.
points. Ooh, you can
Yeah, like here's some
redeem that
wallpapers.
for some thank you cards you can print out. Congratulations.
What a waste. I don't know. I wish Appleblade. I wish you would have wrote in with your. How do you think
Yeah.
what would you be looking for? I personally could care less about achievements. I turn all of them off on PlayStation, Xbox, so I have no idea how many achievements I have. Like I never see them. I'm like, stop popping up on the screen, please.
Yeah. I'm not a hunter by any means. So
Yeah,
was
so
cool
this
back in the
means
day,
very
but
little to me.
don't-
I do think though, I want to be I want to at least acknowledge there are a lot of people that love this and they care a
Yes.
great deal and
Yes.
they're very proud of their accomplishments. And I don't that doesn't bother me at all. I think that's totally fine and fair. I also think that that's also accomplished in like a screenshot. You can just take a screenshot of it. Like it doesn't I don't know. I don't necessarily think you need like a profile badge or a score or something.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Nintendo would do something like levels. So instead of getting like trophies or a score, like you'd be like level 1, a level 2, level like I would imagine to be like some sort of like tier ranking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Super Meta Boy wants to know what's the correct button for jump?
A.
Yeah, 100%.
B's the action. Like that goes back to just A was the jump, B was the action button. You had 2 buttons. And then,
Yeah.
So for me, it's just.
What about on controllers that switch the layouts?
I don't like that. You know what else I hate? I hate when Y.
Jason said, "I don't play those. Don't play those."
I hate when Y is the jump. Like like how they did that in Breath of the Wild. How like
Sure.
Ugh. Or what about when we don't get a jump? You just run off the edge, and then it just auto jumps.
Yeah, the Y jump thing was something I could never do.
I get it. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, so we're looking at the orientation of the buttons. It's the topmost button, so jumping gets you to the topmost plane of existence. So that's why we have to.
I may have to disagree with you, Jason. I had to grab my controllers to rethink about this. For me, jump is the bottom button.
Well, see, that's the funny thing though too.
Which on
like
a Nintendo controller is the B button, and on the Xbox controller is the A button.
The A button. Like I'm holding an Xbox controller.
So when I think A button, I am thinking that bottom button.
Is it?
Because to me, I don't really think of the buttons as A, B, square, circle. I do think of them as like bottom, left, right, up.
But what about like if I hold up one of these, like then your bottom button would be B. I don't like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. I do love the GameCube controller. That's the controller I play with most.
The A button feels great for jump. B button again. That's my attack.
But on your standard modern controller, like to me, it's Mario. You have to be able to hold down the Y button so you can run while pressing the B button to jump at the same time. That's the thumb. That's the action. I wish I had my GameCube controller in my hand. I could, because that's the one I play with. I got that like pro wireless whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a sweet thing. So I've been playing with my game controller for months now.
I think I take that back, and I'm probably right with you too. Because when I was playing, if I think of the last game that I had to do a lot of jumping was probably when I was playing Wonder. And again, you're going to find the natural placement, which just feels better to hold the sprint button and then easily hit the jump button, right? So,
Gamer Guy Lou. So this question for Shaq: where do you think Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom will fit in the series timeline? I've heard some speculation it's an alt timeline sequel to Link to the Past. Some speculate it's a sequel to Link's Awakening. Thoughts? Listen to me, Lou. There was a time when I bought the compendium and I looked through it all and watched YouTube videos and tried to figure all this out. And that time was a long time ago. I don't care anymore. Like,
Here's the thing: I don't think Nintendo cares anymore.
yeah, I for whatever reason that I want to say it was like a phase. I went through that phase.
Oh,
That
yeah.
phase
I agree with you.
started and ended with Breath of the Wild. Like I was in that phase. I think I got into that phase. Like Hyrule Warriors got me there
Yeah.
because it is like Zelda the timeline game. And then once Breath of the Wild came out, I was like, all right, that's done. It's all kind of nonsense. And I moved on. And to be 100% honest and just forthright, I don't think I've ever thought about it since until you asked this question. I
mean,
100% have not thought about it.
I don't own the compendiums. I've thought about it, and I've done the same thing. Very much gone down the rabbit hole of
Yeah.
the timelines. I remember there was like a site that never came out. It was like ZeldaTimeline.com, right? And was going to be this fan site dedicated to the exploring of the timelines. And so and I've watched your Zeltic videos. I've done the Black Zelda. I've done all the lore and gone on to this and done the branching paths and like where the child timeline this and with Wind Waker and how Twilight Prince, all of that, And then again, right, Breath of the Wild came out and kind of said, we're gonna do this, right?
Yeah,
and
smash.
and then Twilight and then Tears of the Kingdom continued with that. And so now we've got this, we still don't really know where those ever fit in. And I think at this point too, I don't think Nintendo's ever even concerned with, I don't think Hinuma goes out and says, well, how are we going to fit this in? No, they're like, what are the gameplay? What are the things we want to do in this world? How do we, and then we'll figure out how to shoehorn that in to appease people maybe at some point. But I don't think they're not looking at the narrative and saying, how do we, that's just not.
Yeah, they don't want to be boxed in like that. And it's cool that we can like try to establish a through line, but it was all loose to begin with.
Yeah.
So at some point I gave up trying to figure it out.
But if I had to like looking at this game and like it like, because even if you look at Link Between Worlds on A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening and like what that is, I mean it looks it feels to be connected at least in that version of Hyrule, but I don't know where it fits in timeline wise, and I guess I don't at this point I don't care because when you kind of separate yourself from that, I don't know, the game's just some more. You can just enjoy the game.
I just treat most of them like they're their own
own
standalone thing.
Yeah, it's like their own.
Unless it's a direct sequel, it's its own little universe.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to say consumed, but I don't. And it's not that I don't care, but I guess it's just doesn't have that much meaning to me. If that makes sense.
It's why I love the original Hyrule Warriors so much, and I think maybe a reason why I think I'm higher on that game than most Zelda fans. And to me, I love that they took, because it was like at the time, it was in the zeitgeist. We had the compendium, everybody's trying to figure it out and all this stuff. And they made a game to like tap into that and to give you that. And they blend all these timelines together. It was like this giant Legend of Zelda celebration while also being unique and fresh. It had Linkle and you could play as Zelda and you could play as Sheik, like while also breaking down the barriers of that franchise. I love that game.
Oh, and that you can play. Can you do local co-op on Switch with that?
I think so. I've never played it co-op, but I think you can. I
gotta show my son that game.
The game is great, and on Switch, it's excellent. Like it is the best version of it. It's brighter, it's more vibrant. It runs at 60. I mean, it is. It's not like Calamity. Calamity's good. I like Calamity a lot. Calamity is just more Breath of the Wild, but like it's hindered. Like the engine for Calamity is not as good.
Yeah.
I won't say not as good. The performance is definitely not as good. It's like it's like 30 and it struggles to hold 30. Whereas Hyrule Warriors is like perfect. Like it runs like a top. And it does. If I know you've played it because I remember talking about it, but like the story mode, it does split into the different time. You can follow them on and see where they go and how they come back together. I was like, dude, this is dope.
Yeah, it's like
I love that game.
It's like a fun celebration of the Zelda journey, right?
And it's a great way for me. I just recently played it, I think a couple months ago. It's a nice way to tap in when you're feeling nostalgic, but you don't want to take on the whole game. It's a great to like, if you're feeling like, oh man, I'm feeling like Wind Waker, go play one of the, like, go get in there. I'm feeling Twilight Princess. Go play that level. Go into the Hyrule Warriors and get in there. Scratch the itch. Super fun.
Yep.
He says, a follow-up. Do you think I should play Link's Awakening on Switch before Echoes of Wisdom or not? I beat it when it came out on my old Switch, but I haven't played it since getting the OLED. look, I don't know how you play games, Lou, but my take would be no. I don't want you to burn
Yeah,
out before
yeah.
Echoes comes out. You've already
I-
played it. You've already beat it. Just
yeah,
hold off.
especially like since it's the same visual
Yeah.
like style. I feel like it might be a bit too much, and also like hopefully this game runs better than that one, right? So I'm gonna want to like. I mean,
Well,
that might help be refreshing to like go from the lesser to the
that was
better.
something I
But
was really paying attention to during the trailer. And my uneducated, untechnically advised opinion was that it looks like it is. I think it looked like it was running a lot better.
yeah,
But we'll see. That's a good point. We'll see. It didn't have like that dreamlike
right.
border effect, and I think that
Mhm.
was kind of the issue, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Smokin' Joe says if Nintendo released a GameCube tier on NSO, which by the way, Jason, have you seen that? This is like all the rage. Have you seen these rumors?
No.
Somebody found some evidence that Nintendo's making a GameCube controller, which made them like everybody thinks it's coming to NSO. If Nintendo released a GameCube tier on NSO, what is one game that would make you Donnie hype face if announced?
I don't think there is a game that could make me hype face. I mean, I love the console and I have great memories of it, but I just don't. There's not one that would do that for me personally. I would be excited because I didn't play it at the time. Would be Eternal Darkness. I've heard it doesn't hold
That was
up
my answer.
greatly, but that's just like the one game I missed out on the
Yeah.
console, right? So I kind of wish I could go back to that, but we've already got Metroid Prime Remastered, so how to capture that. I love Double Dash, but it's hard to go back to Double Dash besides that specific mechanic when how much Mario Kart 8 is an improvement over every Mario Kart before that.
Yeah, we already have Pikmin. We have so many of these games.
I love like
We have Sunshine.
Melee was a great game, but I love Ultimate.
Oh, Melee would be a good one.
I'm not like Melee's above the skill set of Melee has such a higher ceiling
Luigi's
than
Mansion.
these other games. I mean, with the controls. So that's just a great game, but just when yeah, I don't know much else there that would.
I think Melee would pop for a lot of people. Especially with
If you brought
NSO's
it with
focus on
online,
having
if you
online
brought an
multiplayer.
online component that was playable,
yeah, people would lose it for Melee. Melee is a good one. Eternal Darkness was my answer. It's such an obscure, game that it'd be great to like. That's what you want out of something like the subscription service. That's a perfect fit. The other Nintendo published games I'm trying to think of, like I said, we have Sunshine, we have Pikmin, we have Luigi's Mansion. Like so many of them have already been brought over. I guess F-Zero. I think people would like that a lot, right?
Yeah.
I could see that. Strikers.
Star Fox Assault.
Oh yeah, no, the Star Fox games. I didn't even think of those. Good answer. Yeah, no, they're not good. But would people be hyped if they were just on your Switch one day? I actually think they would.
Chibi Robo.
Oh, of course. Well, you got to throw Chibi Robo has to be in there. You can't do it without Chibi Robo. Star Fox would be cool because it'd be a good way to gauge fans' interests. And even though those games aren't great, they're different and they're unique, and that would be cool for people to revisit. Or I'd imagine a lot of people probably never played those. Adventures. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I hope they're doing it. Who knows? Maybe they're doing it for Switch 2, or maybe this is like a big thing that they will help them extend the Switch's life. If this is how we get Wind Waker on Switch, I'm going to be so depressed.
I will play it. Begrudgingly.
I know I will too. I 100% will play it as well, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
No.
Let's see here. Our last question of the show, TPR. Who's the dark horse character of Nintendo who's silently waiting to have their time to shine in a game? Which Nintendo character deserves their own spinoff?
This would be a Nintendo first-party character, not some weird relic of the long time past. Dark horse, I guess I'd have to say Pit. That's my pick, just because there's nobody else that I consider too much of a dark horse that's had a history of their own game or property. So there you go. You get your Kid Icarus game again somehow. It's an easy pick, but that's what I'm going with.
like my original idea, the thing that comes immediately to mind is Bowser. I just don't like that answer.
I'd like a game where you get to play as Bowser, like do the whole reversal where Mario's the bad guy again, and then do like some sort of flip the script and.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's easy to, but it's too easy to just pick the villains.
Yeah,
but like the villains, like people like the villains sometimes, and it would be cool. And plus, there's like the whole Koopa Kids part. Like you could easily do. It wouldn't even have to have Mario all that in it. You don't have to, but like you could easily do a story about Bowser and the Koopa Kids, and like maybe you could like flip the script. That would be easy.
Is it? It feels like it's a shell answer to be like Mike Jones, bring back Star Tropics.
Yeah. Nothing Zelda like really screams to me.
Mm-mm.
Like we already have like the actual Zelda game. I don't
Tingle comes back in his own game.
A rhythm game, right?
Yeah.
Tingle's Rhythm Heaven Fever.
Tingle's Ocarina Hero.
That's it. It's very, very good. Meta Knight.
Ooh.
Yeah. Meta Knight would be cool.
That. So I like Meta Knight.
Like a side scrolling like action beat 'em up kind of platformer sort of thing. That would be cool. Birdo. What's the other one that came to mind?
Okay.
I think Birdo's a really cool character. Like memorable. It'd be cool to do something like the whole egg mechanic and stuff. That'd be neat. Like a Yoshi thing, like Yoshi throws the thing. Something like that I think could work. I'm sure the people that listen to the show are like screaming about Gino or something like that.
Oh God, yeah, they have much better answers than we ever have. But can we just say that Mother 3? That's the just the dark.
Why you got to put the salt in the wound again?
Because I can. Because I'm only here part time.
Nice. Yeah, those are the games I think. Like if they came out with like a good Birdo game, like I would buy that. I would buy a Meta Knight game. I don't know if I'd buy a Gino game, but that's just me. Not into the RPG thing as much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to do it this week in Nintendo Shack. Jason Lacy, thank you again for hanging out with me, bro. I appreciate it. Filling in for the flunkies.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, keeps
the show
I can
make
going.
It work.
Yeah,
that's what I do when the chips are down and Donnie's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to cancel the show this week. Hold on. Let me make a call.
Yeah. Actually, I think we were going to postpone to this. Excuse me, about to yawn. We were going to postpone to this evening, I think was the plan. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Let me call Jason.
I want my evenings back.
It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Let's call Jason. See what he wants to do.
There you go. I did it.
But yeah. Thanks
2 for 2 dude. In recent history. Let's go.
Everybody, thank you for listening to the Nintendo Shack as always. Your regularly scheduled and better host will be back next week. And hopefully I won't. Maybe you guys will enjoy a week without me while I'm playing NCAA football. But until then, play some video games. We'll catch you next week. Good night, Kooplings. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?